Once again, this week, red state governors reminded us of journalist Adam Serwer's observation that with Republicans, the cruelty is the point. Welcome to MOMocrats MOMochat, part of the DemCast family of podcasts. I'm Donna Schwartz with Aliza Worthington, and alas, our friend Carol Lee is off this weekend, and
this is the
Aliza and I
babushka
have to work
broadcast.
harder.
We have to work harder, and this is going to be, it's the babushka broadcast. I've decided we are going to be.
Well, it is getting close to High Holy Days.
It's getting close to High Holidays. This is, it's not sundown yet, but we always do this on Shabbat.
Yeah,
and we
I ordered.
We tend to get Jewy. Me and
I
Donna.
just got a package of a sampler of kosher honey, grown by a black-owned kosher honey company.
Fabulous.
Up in Sacramento.
You're gonna need to drop that link.
I will drop that link because and they sent it pretty quickly, but I don't know how quickly it would get to the other side of the country. It's a pretty
especially this time of year.
Right.
With the high holidays.
Yeah.
But do tell me if cars going by is too loud, Donna. We don't get a lot of traffic here, but I just needed to be outside. Everybody, sorry. It was
I think it's nice to be outside. I know when I had my COVID, I had to go outside.
I know, but you were in your backyard and there weren't cars driving by. But
there were jets flying overhead.
That's true.
I'm right on the Van Nuys Airport flight path.
I don't have jets.
But we had jets, and just warning everybody here that my doorbell will likely ring while we're doing this because I'm expecting a package.
Okay, and we're both wearing our Carol Lee shirts.
Yeah, Carol Lee, if you're watching, look, we're wearing our vote shirt.
And we didn't even coordinate this. Donna and I just did this completely independently of one another. Carol Lee, we're both wearing our Carol Lee shirts.
Well, I think
so we love you and we miss you and we wish you were here, but we understand that there are other people in your life, four-legged and otherwise, that require your attention.
But also, I think it's telling that we're wearing, because this is the vote because we're ruthless shirt.
We're ruthless.
And this week we got a stark reminder of the damage that Donald Trump did to our judiciary.
Yeah.
And, corrupt Aileen Cannon just twisted herself into a pretzel to give Trump what he wanted, and gave him the special master, and will not allow the FBI to investigate the classified documents until after the special master looks at them all. And she seems to think that they're only allegedly classified.
That the FBI doesn't know what they're talking about when
she doesn't trust them. She doesn't trust the DOJ.
It's
not Bill Barr in charge.
The law and order crowd doesn't trust the DOJ
or the FBI. Right, because Democrats have the executive branch now.
Interesting.
Yes.
But all this was marked classified under the previous.
Who knows? Because we don't know how old these documents are. We don't know any of the purview.
Right.
All we know is that
if they've been in Trump's possession since he left office, then nobody in this DOJ or this FBI could have marked them classified.
Right.
So why would this judge not trust the classification of these? It just makes my head explode.
This judge only cares about pleasing her benefactor, Trump, who nominated her to her lifetime position.
Do we suspect that there might be more of a promise ahead for her if he gets back into office?
Oh yeah, she'll be on the Supreme Court.
Is she our next Supreme Court?
Yeah,
are we looking at?
I'm sure of that.
Justice Cannon.
I am sure of that. If God forbid. God forbid.
Yeah.
Because if we don't ace these midterms and win re-election in
Yeah.
2024, I we're not going to be planning our high holy days in public like this.
No.
It's going to be open season on anybody who isn't white, Christian, and Republican.
Yeah, it's interesting. This was this was not on our your Google list of topics to talk about, but um there was a an active shooter drill at one of the clinics where I escort.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there for it. I wasn't escorting on this particular day, but it occurred to me that in the 5 years or so that I've been escorting, or 6 years, however, no, it's been about, sorry, 4 or 5 years that I've been escorting, never had an active shooter drill. Never felt the need to have an active shooter drill. And now that Roe is gone, suddenly we need to have an active shooter drill. And I don't understand it because Roe is gone. Like, they won. Why are they madder?
Because you're
Um,
still
I
you're still
understand. Like, I
offering
mean,
abortion services.
like, I can take the number of steps I need to take to get there,
Mm-hmm.
but when you say it's going to be open season on anybody who doesn't, you know, that's the perfect example of it. Now, it is open season on people who don't, even if it's legal in that state, even if it's the Supreme Court said states can decide. So yeah, my state says abortion's legal. My state has it in the Constitution, but that's not good enough for the people that overturned Roe. This is what they wanted. They overturned Roe. It went back to the states, and they're mad that some states went ahead and said, "Okay, we're going to keep abortion legal."
Well,
And now we're in
beforehand,
danger because they got what they want.
there's two issues here.
It's like I can't make it. I can't square it up.
That's because you're looking at it too narrowly.
Well, I'm
It's
looking at it
not
too
about
logically. I'm
jobs.
looking at it through
No,
the
no,
lens of a rational person.
no. The increased active shooter drilling is not so much about Dobbs as it is about January 6th and the increase in violent acts all over the country. It's
Against
it's
political
not
enemies.
about the Second Amendment. It's about MAGA. It's about MAGA
And
because
about
all of a
it's
sudden
about
it's
the
become normalized to, if we can't get our way, we're going to take violent action. And
yeah,
it's about Dobbs, it's about immigrants, it's about, people they don't like, it's about books they don't like, it's about
yeah.
education.
Yeah, it's
Look at
about
all
teachers teaching what they think they
right,
should.
right.
Those
You're
people are
looking at
threatened.
it
Yeah,
way
it's all.
too
You're right.
narrowly.
I am. You're right. You're right.
At the same time, they got what they wanted and went back to the States, and that's not good enough. And Lindsey Graham,
Of all people.
Marco Rubio
Of
are
all people.
introducing a
Lindsey
bill
Graham.
to ban abortion nationwide, which will
Yeah.
die in this Congress. But
Yeah.
if we don't vote,
Vote.
they will bring that back out
Yeah.
in the next session.
Yeah.
If we don't vote, if we lose the House, Joe Biden will never get to appoint another judge.
Yeah.
And nothing will get done because all they will do is bogus investigations. It will
Yeah.
be Benghazi times 100.
Yep. Every day, all day long, Benghazi.
Yeah.
Which, meanwhile, God forbid they would recall this aspect of it. Hillary Clinton actually testified and respected her, when they called her to answer questions about it, she went and answered questions, and they found zero wrongdoing.
No, but what they did find was
You
a
know,
what they did find was an unauthorized server for her email, and they made
ex-
that into something when it was nothing.
right,
And
exactly. But like
they
that's what I'm
found
like. They
zero
won't even send their people to when we're investigating. They don't even let their people come testify.
yeah.
Their people just defy their side just defies the subpoenas.
And they say
So
both sides do it. No,
right,
our
no,
side
they don't. That's what I'm
investigates when
saying.
there's something to investigate.
Exactly. So if they turn things around, and God forbid they win in Congress and start all these what and start bullshit investigations, because I mean our investigations are not bullshit. This January 6th investigation is serious as a heart attack. Um if Republicans try to, do all their, their bullshit investigating, are we going to answer those subpoenas? Or when they start to try, when they subpoena AOC because they hate her, is she gonna go testify when they
Yes.
subpoena? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen if we don't answer the subpoenas? They're going to haul us into jail.
Yeah.
They're not going to give us the the discretion
Mm-hmm.
that the Democratic DOJ has given Donald Trump after he stole
Yeah.
classified documents.
Well, I don't know if Biden's DOJ would arrest Democrats for not adhering to a subpoena, but a congressional subpoena. But
Not for a congressional subpoena. That's true.
I mean that's what I'm talking about. If we pull that same shit, I mean, because that's an that their investigations are going to be illegitimate.
I don't even want to contemplate that. It won't happen if we keep winning elections.
Right, which
We
we
have
have
to
been.
keep winning
We
elections.
have to keep winning. We have to vote, and we have been. We've been having some success. It's been um, in Alaska and in Michigan now. Abortion's going to be on the ballot,
Yes.
as it should be. Well, I mean, it shouldn't be, but you know what I mean.
There
And
were so many Michigan
Michiganders,
voters who signed the petition to put it on the ballot
and they
and
tried to the Republicans tried to invent some bogus ass reason why,
spacing,
huh?
spacing in the
The
text,
spacing in the
spacing.
text wasn't perfect. It's such bullshit. But
Well, we
anyway,
can laugh. We can laugh after November
I
if
exactly.
if we
Well,
win.
every once in a while a giggle slips through, but yeah.
You know, this is a scary time.
Yeah.
So this is the time to do what we can to register new voters,
Mhm.
to send postcards, to
Send
canvass,
postcards, sign up to
whatever
drive people
happens.
if you can. If you're able, if you're physically fit, if you're able to drive, and you have the leave and you're able to, flexibility,
Because
offer to
we
take people to the
have to
polls.
turn out in droves
Mhm.
because of the voter suppression,
Yep.
the after the fact voter suppression.
Yep.
And I mean, it is so dangerous. I don't know what did they say? It's like 6 out of 10 Republican candidates believe that the 2020 election was stolen.
Yeah.
Like that's like an amazing number. It's
That
like in
is.
every state you've got election deniers running
Yeah.
for office.
Yeah.
So it is important to get out there. It is important to vote. It is important
And
to vote for
again, my
Democrats
question to
in
all of those election
every
deniers is what about, so does that mean that all the places where Republicans won, those guys didn't win?
logic. You're making the mistake. a
I know, but it's just
fine,
like there has to be, if you're
logical
going to
argument.
deprogram people, if there are people on the fence,
But
then,
it's about
or
feelings with it's all about feelings, you know? People who are politically active on the left tend to think that all we have to do is be logical, issue a good argument, have a good debate, win the debate.
no. I'm not saying that this is going to, I'm not saying these things in place of action or voting. I'm just jawing here.
Yeah, no,
I'm,
no.
I'm just,
The MAGAs are mostly unredeemable.
yeah, they are. They're completely irredeemable, and I'm just going at it like I see the good liars doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just so. I'm trying to give people who have family members, something to fight back with.
Well, the
Like
best thing you can do for
questions
family members is disable the
and
right-wing news
turn
channels.
off
Turn
Fox.
them
Yeah,
off.
yeah, like smash their cable box.
Or get the child lock going and
Yeah. Don't
lock
let the
them out.
kids.
Lock them
Yeah.
out of. But of course, now CNN is
Mhm.
not trustworthy either anymore.
So wait, so Don Lemon got canned from CNN, or did he leave?
No, they've started a new morning show. He got shifted to a new
Oh,
morning show
okay.
with Caitlin Collins and I forget who the it's CNN's version of Fox and Friends.
Caitlin Collins. I'm not a fan. Do you know who else the other person is? Because I kind of like Don Lemon.
Let's see, CNN morning show.
Ugh. So, what time is that supposed to run? Is that supposed to run like at from 9 a.m. Eastern, like after the Brianna Keeler show and John Ablon?
Yeah, let me see.
I kind of like John Ablon, but I haven't seen.
I've
I
always
haven't watched
liked
it.
him.
Yeah,
He's
I like him, but Brianna Keeler, who I used to love, has done this hard right turn, this stupid ass both sides crap.
well,
Now
she's
it seems like she's gone downhill. I just don't know if John Ablon
worried about
has.
her job.
I mean that's fair,
Oh, Poppy Harlow.
Yeah.
And it's going to air 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern.
So what's Brianna Keeler and John Ablon gonna do? Aren't they? I thought that was their spot.
They're still on the bubble. They don't know if they're going to keep their jobs.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Bad.
and
It's
Brian
a bad.
Stelter
I
still
know
has
this is a cycle
years.
that happens every 10, 15 years, but it's a bad moment in the cycle. It's very dangerous to it's a
Again,
we
you
have
know,
never been so weak
yeah,
that and to be so weak at a time when we're at this point in the cycle is a horrible conflation of events, a horrible, coincidence of those two things.
I
Um
agree.
because man, the last thing we need is more of a right-wing bent anywhere. I mean, it's bad enough on MSNBC half the time.
Again, Joe Biden gave an important primetime speech 2 weeks ago, and none of the networks carried it
No
live
one carried it.
because they said it was political, because he was calling out the anti democratic people in the
Yes.
Republican Party. He wasn't even saying the entire Republican Party.
No, he was just saying the MAGA branch.
He was careful to
You
because
talk about the extremists.
he still believes there are good Republicans.
God bless him. He's
God
wrong,
bless him.
but God bless him. I think he's wrong.
There are a few. There are a
Eh.
few who have come out and are, you've got the ones in Utah who are supporting Evan McMullen
Well,
instead
like
of
you think so, but then you got to ask him. My final question to anybody who claims to be a good Republican is if Trump runs again, are you going to vote for him?
And there
That's my
are
final
some
question,
good
and almost
Republicans who
everybody to
won't.
a fault is saying, "Yeah, I'd vote for him."
Yeah, not everybody. There's a handful who won't, but it's just a handful.
Yeah.
It's just a
You know,
handful.
all these people that testified in the September 6th, I mean, in the January 6th
Hmm.
hearings, who we were all Republicans, or nearly all Republicans. And they gave, with the exception of the Capitol Police officers who might
And
not,
some poll workers.
and they all, they were all either working in the Trump White House, or they were some, or for politicians who were Republican, diehard Republicans, and they were talking about how horrible this was and how disappointed they were in Trump and blah 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 blah. And you think, oh, finally they've seen the light, and they're, okay, here there are some good Republicans, and they have a conscience and whatever. And and then if you ask them the question, now if Trump runs again, would you vote for him? Yes, I would still vote for Trump. No, there's that
And
then
this
you're
is
gone.
why,
All the good you've done gone.
and this is why, for all we do not agree with Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger's policy positions, they've been singled out
Yeah,
because
they will not.
they actually will not, and they are actively working to stop him.
Yeah,
And that's why they do get credit for that.
yeah,
And you have to admire that in them because they have sacrificed for the
yeah.
country. I mean, they may have, ideas about their future. They are politicians.
Oh, they definitely
They've got
do.
egos,
And
but
along with
you
it,
know
they
what?
have abhorrent, political
Yeah,
inclinations, in
they
my
do.
view.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But they they will try to stop Trump, and Liz Cheney has until January
She has until January for this committee.
for the committee work, and I think that her committee work has been incredible, and I feel like
And
that's
she
going to
has.
be a real loss, um, as far as the committee goes.
Yeah.
Because there's
We
not going to be
learned
a
some new things.
Republican to replace her on that committee.
Yeah. But we learned some more new things
Yes.
this week. We learned that the Department of Justice's investigation into January 6th has been going since right after January 6th,
Hmm.
right after the inauguration.
Yep.
It's been going.
Yep.
We learned that 40 people were just subpoenaed, including we saw them confiscate Mike Lindell's cell phone. We didn't actually see them do that. And they told him not.
If you're in the mood for a laugh, you know.
If you're in the mood for the laugh, read the Hardys Twitter feed.
Oh my, the Hardy's Twitter feed?
Well, he was at a Hardee's when they caught up with him and took his phone.
Are you kidding me?
And their
How did
social
I miss
media,
that?
the Hardee's social media guy is like, tweeted out, "You should try our pillowy biscuits." And
That's
then they
why
got,
Hardy's was trending. That was
yes,
oh my God.
yes.
See, this is
And
what happens when I get a job and I have to stop paying such close attention to the
and then they
Twitter.
also had like a promotion going. Um, that was also related to the pillowy biscuits, and I
I'm
forget what the
dying. I'm
promotion was.
dying. I was wondering why everybody was talking about the biscuits at Hardee's. That is so funny.
Yeah, yeah. So kudos to their social media
I'm
people.
telling you, these fast foods and these like these it's awful. All that food's gonna kill us. That's why we have a shorter lifespan than our previous generation. But I'm telling you, man, their social media game. It's too much. That's hilarious.
So yes, we have learned this week that DOJ has got like 5 different lines of inquiry
Yeah.
that they've been working on this. All the people that said Merrick Garland isn't doing anything. No, Merrick Garland's DOJ is very, very busy.
performative.
This rundown. I wrote this is
There,
from
I
the
mean, I have
Washington
been
Post.
saying this from the beginning.
Yeah,
We're not supposed to know
here we go. According to
what
the
they're
Washington
doing.
Post today, the subpoenas that were issued cover 18 different categories of information. Taken together, the subpoenas show an investigation that began immediately after the storming of the US Capitol and has cast an ever widening net, even as it gathers information about those in the former president's inner circle. It
Thank you.
includes the effort to replace valid Biden electors with fake electors, the rally, the
Love it.
fundraising and spending of the so called Save America Political Action Committee. Um, there, there's just so much going on. We
Yeah.
also have the Georgia probe, where again,
Danny
Fani
Willis.
Willis says that there will be indictments and convictions.
And jail time.
And she's pursuing whether
She's
Georgia
predicting jail
law was
time.
broken, prohibiting false statements by officials, that the election was stolen,
Yep.
the solicitation of election fraud, the
Yep.
calls made by Trump and others to election officials,
Giuliani. Yep.
the fake elector scheme, threats to election workers, and whether election systems were breached in Coffee County. And she
Mm.
says that she is um, looking to prosecute a lot of these under the state's RICO laws,
Yep.
racketeering.
Rico, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then the other news that we got, oh yeah, Mark Meadows, we found out,
Mark Meadows has been
also answered
very
the subpoena.
quiet,
He's
and
been
that's
very
because he's
quiet.
been cooperating.
And he apparently did give the DOJ the same tranche of texts that we know he gave the January 6th committee before he got chicken.
Mm-hmm.
We heard, I think last week, that after the Mar-a-Lago raid, he gave January 6th some additional texts
Oh,
and materials.
really? I didn't. He's like, uh-oh, I better
Now, this
turn.
is in
I better
like
turn the other stuff
reporting
over.
I'm looking at now. So, but
Yeah,
I saw that somewhere that he had given them additional materials.
wouldn't surprise me.
And in 10 days or so, the January 6th hearing,
12,
12 days, the
12 days,
January
28th.
6th hearings begin again.
They recommence.
They recommence. I think it was Jamie Raskin who said that there will be a report issued before the election or just after the election. And
I
then
don't know.
it's not the final report. The final report will be issued at the end of the year. So
Okay.
there's going to be two reports issued. They're probably going to wait until after the election, which is, unfortunate, but we'll have hearings again.
I mean, it's gotta go at the pace that they can investigate. I mean,
Yeah. They got a bunch of stuff from the Secret Service.
if they want
Have the missing
if they want to back up their claims that this is not a partisan investigation, then they can't try to time it with the election. They
right.
can't say we're going to try to help Democrats with this investigation.
They can't.
And so, I mean, if it comes, as much as we would love for that to be the timing as Democrats, they're not, the people on that committee are so committed
Serious.
to
Serious.
authentic
Mm-hmm.
um,
Fact finding.
law enforcement and fact
Mhm.
finding, and a what's the word I'm looking for, a clinical reading of the law, and you know and a passionate desire to protect the Constitution. And election cycle be damned, if they can they'll get it out when they get it out. But if they keep getting more and more information, if things keep coming out, they're not going to promise anything by any time. I'm sure
Yes.
Liz Cheney wants to get stuff wrapped up by the end of the year so she can.
Well, I think they all want to get stuff wrapped up because they don't know if they can go past this year.
But they'll
Vote,
know before.
vote,
They'll
vote.
they'll they'll know in November, won't
They'll
they?
know in November. Vote. But
It's possible that they'll find out in November, from my lips to God's ears, that we've won more seats, and maybe they'll feel a little less pressure to finish by the end of the year. Maybe they'll be able to say, okay, well, we can continue to take this where it's being taken. But one thing I heard, and I can't remember where I read this, but somebody predicted that Merrick Garland, and it wasn't by way of criticism, it wasn't like a Garland hater like I often see. Um, and it wasn't by way of trashing him, but that he was very unlikely to, issue subpoenas or indictments or do anything
Right.
major within 60 days of the election.
Yeah.
And then a couple days ago, we got the 40 subpoenas.
Yeah.
So I was like, yes, he's not paying attention to that because it's within 60 days of the election. And
The people he subpoenaed probably aren't on the ballot.
I don't care, but I mean, it's just something that's good for, not that he would, I don't think it had anything to do with subpoenaing people running for office. I think it was,
But
as something that
also,
might impact
but
the
also the
election.
news of the subpoenas came
I'm
out.
sorry, the what of the subpoenas?
The news.
Yes.
The subpoenas. The subpoenas happened earlier.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So he may still be, adhering to that 60-day.
Trying to adhere to that. Yeah.
My guess is because he really does not want to appear to be political, is that he will do everything in his power to not appear to be political.
I kind of hope
But that doesn't
that's
mean
not
he's
true.
he's not going to put the investigation on hold.
Right. That's what I
This
hope. I
isn't
hope
gonna
that if
be
something,
in public.
yeah, if he arrives at a conclusion that merits action
Mhm.
within the 60 days, I hope he takes action. I hope he
For
doesn't hold
instance,
off on taking
those
action.
classified documents that
Yes.
Trump has had all this time
Yeah.
puts our nation in
At
danger.
risk. Yep. Not just our, but the people who are acting on behalf of our nation.
That still
The
puts us in
yeah.
danger. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Things are dire.
yeah.
Things are really dire. And even if by some miracle, because, the pundits still are going, well, maybe you guys can hold on to the House, but don't count on it.
Fuck them.
Even if we flipped
Yeah.
bunch of red seats, you know what's
Yeah.
going to happen?
What?
Election deniers.
Yeah. Are gonna.
2022
Yeah.
election deniers. Okay? This is a very dangerous time. This is why you had that active shooter drill.
Yeah.
There's going to be more violence, Lisa.
There is, and that's
What they're
one of the
calling for
reasons.
right now.
Yeah.
All of his statements on his stupid failing Truth Social have have echoed
They
what
all
he's
have
saying.
the same vein.
Yes, and what he's been saying on his stupid rallies.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of thing. He is inciting violence.
Yeah.
And then you've got all the little mini Trumps running. The Mastrianos, and
You have that one, and that's why it has to be such. There can't be any close victories. It has to be.
that's going to be hard in gerrymandered districts.
I know.
There will be some close victories. There will, and there's nothing we can do about that.
I know.
There will be some close losses too.
Yeah.
And then there will be areas where the Democrats don't have a chance.
Yeah.
I think we're stuck with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh my God, I know. I keep hoping Marcus Flowers gets, some sort of surge or influx or
not in that district.
not in that
And
district.
you saw yesterday that she kicked an 18-year-old activist.
Yeah.
And
That's
bragged about it.
And what about it?
She bragged about it. She posted the video herself.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing the aunties do at the clinics.
Mhm.
They'll elbow us and then jump back and say, "Hey, hey, don't touch me." They'll throw the first punch and then they'll jump back and act like we punched them. And
Mhm.
they,
Yeah.
no physical contact, they'll start whining after they throw their arms, you know, in our backs.
Yeah.
She backed up into me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, no.
these kids, these Democratic activists were
Yeah,
questioning her about her support of
of gun
unlimited guns. Yeah, of gun
unlimited gun.
violence. And she's screaming at them that, they want to get rid of our precious Second Amendment rights.
Yeah.
And no, the Second Amendment has nothing to do with automatic rifles.
Shooting and shooting children in their classrooms.
Ugh. Some of the Uvalde parents are on Twitter, and it just breaks my heart every time one of them tweets about how their other children miss. There's my.
Oh, all
Well,
right. You're gonna
keep
pause
talking.
it.
No, no, I
Okay.
can't pause it. Just keep talking while I go put this in the fridge.
Oh my God. Oh, I didn't know it was gonna be solo. It's a soliloquy. Um, yeah. Uh, yeah. So there have been photos of Uvalde parents talking to Ted Cruz, who says,
I'm going to do an unboxing video now.
"Oh,
No, not really. Keep talking.
um, begging their legislators to please consider rational rational gun laws." And people like Ted Cruz are like, sorry you lost your kid.
I'm
Awfully
sitting
sad.
here shaking my head.
Yeah. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
And he's just sitting there in his leather chair looking at a picture of these parents are sitting there 2 feet from him. And the man has no fucking soul. He has no soul. And he will stare at that photo and he will look at them and in the face and tell them why he supports no gun restrictions and send them on their merry way. And it's so fucking disgusting. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is exactly the same way. And I mean, I just can't with these people with the guns. I can't.
I agree. I agree.
I just I don't understand. Um,
We're in a bad
how
place.
I don't understand how these
We're in a bad place
how they sleep
where,
at night. I don't understand.
well, we need to rebalance the Supreme Court.
We need to rebalance the Supreme Court. We need
The whole
Beto to
reason
win governorship. We need Ted Cruz out of the Senate. We need,
it's
you know,
daunting.
it is
It's
daunting
daunting.
because Ted Cruz is going to be there for a while, and I don't know that Beto's going to win. I hope he wins, but there's, you know,
Well, what's even scarier is Stacey Abrams is not, she's underperforming in Georgia
that is scary.
because she's lost black male voters.
Oh, the misogyny.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't read that. I hadn't seen that. Rears its ugly head.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
And someone as smart and capable, you know,
They would rather have a guy like Kemp.
apparently.
They would rather have unbelievable. That I had not heard that, and that's extremely distressing.
I have to find that article for
That's
you. I
why we
read
need
it
to get
last week.
that's why we need black women to vote. It's why, and they have always voted. They have always no, no, I take that back. That's why we need white women to do their part
But
for a goddamn change.
white women have been voting GOP
I
for
know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
generations. And I don't know how to change their minds because, like I said, it's not logical. Now, hopefully,
because it
Bob's
benefits them, because
decision may,
the patriarchy benefits them, the racism benefits them.
this is where Dobbs is the wild card.
I mean, it's a wild card, but
Because white Republican women are not happy.
are suddenly pissed.
Yeah.
Like, what did they think was going to happen when they got their when they got their people on the court? Like, this is what they wanted, I thought.
Yeah.
How come they're not happy? I don't get it. I don't get why they're not happy.
Well,
Isn't this what they wanted?
I don't think they looked beyond the dead babies to see dead women, you know?
I don't think they I don't know. I do not understand how this
Look,
group
I
of
was being
women.
sarcastic when I said dead babies.
I know.
I know, but I just remember that we've got the audio only and they can't see the air quotes on
Oh,
that.
oh, oh, oh. That's
And
right. I forgot we have that part.
we
Um,
had that part, and, you know, a fetus is not a baby. And despite what Republicans still try to tell you, nobody is in favor of killing actual babies.
that's right. But
Nobody. Nobody.
what they're what they do seem to believe is that it is an actual baby, as Nancy Pelosi said, from the moment of dinner the night before,
Yes. With more rights
with more
than the
rights
woman.
than the woman. And
Yeah.
the I do not I don't understand how they're surprised unless they are finally seeing that it's going to inconvenience them should they find themselves pregnant in a situation where that they don't want, to have a baby, but they want to be able to judge other people for having
Or if
abortions.
you have a medical issue.
No, that goes without saying. I'm not even talking
But
about
I
that.
think
I'm
that's
talking about the
where
white
Bob's,
women who, uh, you know, I'm talking about the white women who don't want to be inconvenienced and used to have this at their disposal,
mhm,
while at the same time going after the people who publicly were fine with it,
mhm,
and going after Planned Parenthood for saying this shouldn't be stigmatized.
right.
And they wanted to have their cake and eat it too. And now they are finding that they're not even going to be able to have their cake.
No,
And that's why I think they're really pissed. And um, my question to them is, what exactly did you think was going to happen?
they weren't
Like,
thinking at all. They weren't thinking at all. It
what did they think overturning Roe meant? I mean, I don't buy that they weren't thinking at all. I
they
don't
weren't.
buy it.
I think the
What were they buying
majority,
into? What were they buying into when they were picketing the streets, when they're saying end Roe, end Roe? What were they buying into then?
they were buying into a belief that it is literally killing babies. And they were
And has
not,
that belief dissipated? I'm trying to understand. So if they bought into that belief that it was literally killing a baby even at 6 weeks, why are they upset that now they themselves will not be able to kill a baby, in quotes, at 6 weeks? This is what I don't understand. This is, I mean, again, I know
Because
you're
it's
telling me that I'm being too
abstract.
narrow, or I'm
It
trying
is
to use logic.
abstract, Aliza. And if you read studies about the conservative mind, there's a lack of empathy. It's hard to project into what other people are feeling if they are not you. We say they project all the time.
Yeah,
And
they do. That's
the
true.
corrupt ones think that we do everything just as corruptly,
Right.
and they have a hard time understanding that people might have empathy. It's like
Yeah.
this week when those people from
Immigrants.
Venezuela
Yeah.
showed up in Martha's Vineyard, and instead of owning the libs, the libs on Martha's Vineyard all were all over themselves to help the people,
Yeah.
you know? So it is hard to imagine the emotional what happens to somebody else until it affects you personally. And I don't think the majority of people who were voting for right wing candidates who vowed to overturn Roe believed it could happen or really gave a lot of thought to the idea that they would lose a right in bodily autonomy.
A right that they might actually take advantage of.
Right. Or that it could affect their health care even if they weren't trying to deal with an unwanted pregnancy. They did not, because they don't listen to logic or facts, they did not understand that abortion is health care.
I consider myself a pretty flexible thinker and open minded, and willing to consider many, many different ways of looking at things and ideas. Um, but I cannot make my mind go in the directions or do the contortions that conservative minds apparently do.
Yeah.
It's so, so difficult for me
Yeah.
to understand it, let alone justify it, or find a way to say, or find it anywhere in my heart or my brain to say, well, that's just a different way of thinking. I can't even do that much. I can't even respect it as like, if we're talking about art or music or movies, I could say opera is not my thing, but I can see the value in people who I understand why it is some people's thing, but it's just not I can identify people who are good at it, and I recognize it takes years of practice, blah blah blah. I can respect that, but I cannot for the life of me allow even the tiniest degree of legitimacy to any conservative arguments that I hear, any Republican trying to justify their
Unfortunately,
vote.
unfortunately, what we have now is this closed ecosystem, this closed informational ecosystem where people grow up hearing just the one point of view in their church, in their reading material, in their media diet, and what they hear about the other side is a mischaracterization that today says that Democrats and liberals are the devil themselves. We're Satan. That's what folks are hearing.
And the thing is that, like, about the Venezuelan immigrants who came to Texas and were tricked onto a bus.
Tricked.
First of all, P.S. Is that kidnapping or trafficking? Being told by government officials even that they were going to be going, delivered one place and ending up
Perla
someplace.
wasn't a government official.
Oh, okay.
Perla was there. looking for people and saying that, hey, we're going to take you to Boston.
Who?
And
So who? How did we connect Perla to DeSantis?
well, we know that DeSantis paid for the chartered plane.
Okay, so basically, it is a government official.
Yeah, but it wasn't a government official who recruited the people.
Right, but a government official paid for the transportation of the
They
people being
paid for
trafficked.
transportation. We also know that
So
Perla gave another Venezuelan immigrant $200 to talk more people into it.
it's a
One of the people that she got
pyramid
to
scheme.
go.
It's a
One of the
pyramid scheme.
people she got to go. She said, "Here, $200, get me
If
more
you,
people."
yeah.
For a
So
political, what was a political stunt?
so it's Amway, but for politics.
No,
And
it was recruiting.
okay,
It was like when you put an ad on Craigslist and you're going to pay $10 for people to come to a Trump rally and hold up signs that say "Blacks for Trump," right?
God, the cynicism. Uh, in the meantime, you know,
In the meantime,
these people's
this is
lives,
what
they
I've
end up
been
on an
thinking about.
island or they end up on this tiny little in this town.
Well, they're at Cape Cod now,
Okay.
and they have been connected to healthcare
Yeah.
and legal services. And these 50 people are going to be okay.
Yeah. Because Democrats took care of them.
Well, the governor of Massachusetts is Republican,
Oh, okay.
but Massachusetts is a blue state, even though the
Yeah.
governor is Republican.
And but wasn't it, weren't they
Again,
taken
let's
there
look
because
at the
it's a
big
sanctuary
picture.
city?
Let's look at the big. Martha's Vineyard wasn't picked for being a
I know,
sanctuary city. It was
but
picked for
isn't
being
that what they were
where
saying?
liberals live.
But they,
Aliza, we have to look at the big picture again
yeah,
because the anti-immigration stance and the anti-abortion stance are connected.
they're all of a piece, aren't they?
It's all of a piece because the people who have taken over the Supreme Court have a philosophy that says that women belong home with their children,
Yes, they do, according
be
to
at the
them.
workplace. And yes, it's true that we have a population problem. We can't fill all our jobs, but we don't want immigrants either. It's your job to give birth to more workers. It's Gilead.
Yeah.
It really is. And that's the big picture. We can use, yeah, it's true. We have an immigration issue. We haven't done anything about our immigration policy in decades because Republicans refuse to vote for the bills
Yeah.
or help craft the bills
Yeah.
or negotiate so that we can improve it. And then they blame us for the problem.
Right.
And it's true that there have been 8,000 people crossing the border every day, and that more money needs to be allocated by Congress
Yeah.
to help these people. In the meantime, the border states are running out of money, not that they ever allocated enough money.
Right. Or had an interest in allocating enough money or
And so
acted
now
like they
they've got
cared.
this stunt where they're sending them to DC and New York and Chicago, and those cities are running out of money.
Hmm.
So again, the federal government needs to allocate more funds for services and to help. We also need to be doing what we can to make conditions better in the countries the folks are coming from because they would not
Right.
be making this arduous trip. Nobody wants
Exactly.
to leave their
That's why
home.
I had to
Nobody wants
laugh
to do that.
when they dropped 2 busloads of immigrants off at Kamala Harris's residence. And I said on Twitter, I said, if she were home when they did that, she would have invited them in. She would have cooked for them. She would have gathered her staff, and she would have connected them with helping them with filling out paperwork. She would have been on the floor playing with the babies and the kids, and she would have had Doug's family come over and helping corral everybody into getting them organized, and she would have been welcoming them and thanking them for choosing the United States, and she would have been explaining to them what she is doing to make things better in the countries they left, because we are part of the reason that things are so shitty in those countries.
That's true.
And that Kamala Harris is one of the biggest and most successful advocates for bettering the economies and the safety of the people in South America, Latin America, and that's so like they think that they're owning us by dropping the the immigrants off in liberal cities. No, we show them how we take care of people.
Yeah. Well, they don't like that part.
I know they don't like that part. They just make themselves look like assholes.
So we've got a few minutes left. Let's shift to something a little bit more fun to talk about.
Okay,
The new
yes, we haven't
live
talked about it.
action Little Mermaid.
Die mad racists.
When I saw that Halle Bailey was cast, I was excited. Have you heard her sing?
She's
amazing.
Her
She's
voice is
beautiful.
so
She,
clear and pure. Her voice is so she hits the center of every note. She is so good.
she is. I'm excited to see it. And I don't even have
Yes.
kids or grandkids.
That's what Dave said when I told him what was going on. Dave was like, "I'm gonna have to see this movie." When I told him how pissed off the racists were, did you see what Bill Nye said today?
What? I love him. What did he say?
Oh, good Lord. Somebody photoshopped Kylie Jenner and said Kylie Jenner is the Little Mermaid we all deserved. Like they were all pissed off that there was a black, and Bill Nye says, "I think we have enough plastic in the ocean. Thank you very much."
That's so great.
But yeah, I mean, just these videos of these black children seeing Ariel be black with red hair. I mean, if we're going to get really specific and narrow, talking about the black children that have red hair, it's gorgeous. It's just amazing to see. And her hair is in locks. It's beautiful, and the look of joy on these kids' faces, and it's not fake, because like the kids, you see the shock on their faces, and the parents are saying, "Why are you smiling?" or "Why are you looking like?" And they're like, "'Cause she's black, and
representation matters.
it matters so much. It matters so much." And then people on the right wing people, they are furious. They can't handle it. And then some
character.
About a fucking cartoon character.
Did you see Abigail Disney's tweet?
No, tell me.
And I want to remind all of the people complaining about Ariel that Ursula's purple.
Yeah. Well, that's what some of the comebacks were. I can't believe they cast Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, and she's not even purple, let alone an octopus. I mean, like, that's how absurd this whole thing is. Melissa, she's not even an octopus. How can they cast her as Ursula? And, that's how fucking absurd it is. And somebody, who is that, the right wing, I don't know if he's a radio show host or a talk show host or something, and he was talking about scientifically how unlikely it is that a mermaid would be black.
I saw that.
I sent that to Dave, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we have all our best scientific minds working on the mermaid science going on there." Like, what the hell? It's a mermaid. What kind of science? And then there was somebody who sent this, did this brilliant tweet, and Twitter made her take it down. That said, with all the black people y'all threw in the ocean,
Oh, I saw that.
y'all are shocked that a mermaid is black.
Yeah. And
Twitter
on
made her,
that note,
Twitter made her take that down.
I know.
On
On
that
that
note,
note, that is our show for the week.
yeah, go see Little Mermaid when it
Go
comes out.
see The Little Mermaid when it comes out, and join us next week at MOMocrats.buzzsprout.com, our YouTube channel, or find us on your favorite podcast service such as iTunes, Google, and Amazon Music. And be sure to check our Facebook page for updates.
Yes.
This is Donna Schwartz Mills and Aliza Worthington saying goodbye for the MOMocrats. And yes, vote, everybody, vote.
Bye.
Bye.